does it really cost to come to a show like EMO? Could you afford it? Drink beer at the show, get bread and cheese at a store. I'm going to tell you exactly what I paid and what the costs really were. I'm the CNC repairman. Are your spindle belts? I'm going to show you how the Niagara Falls School of Art. If you work for somebody, you might have to justify your cost of coming to a show like this. Now, if you're just a do-it-yourselfer, you're going to have to fork out some money. But what does it really cost to come to a show like this? Do most people pay to come here? What do the booths cost? What do all the companies who put up big booths and big shows and big dinners and all the fancy stuff? Well, let's talk about it. They could probably run this robot much faster, but since it's not bolted to the floor, they can't go at full speed. If they went at full speed, it would tip the whole thing over. Usually there's a large plate that the base plate is bolted to, and then that plate is bolted to the floor. It's very impressive. It's probably running at 15%. It's running really slow. This is the double dovetail that's used inside of aerospace airplane engines. Right next to me is the FANUC booth. Now, when you think of a FANUC control, do you think of the most reliable, the longest lasting, the best support in the world? That's kind of what I think. They literally support their equipment to the end of its life, which I'm not 100% sure what other company does that. So it's really impressive. Here are the robots. They're monster. I've worked on some like 1990s machines, really old. And it's cool that FANUC still supports them. Here, a plaque on their wall, they say they support it till the end of life. Where there's FANUC, there's support, which is 100% true. So I just wanted to give them a shout out and say they're a fabulous company. Have you ever heard of somebody doing a software update on a FANUC machine? Very rarely. I mean, maybe changing the ladder, maybe doing a design change, but they're all over it. Their service techs are top notch. Their equipment is very long lasting. So it's really fun to just get to walk around and see everything that they have. And if you're here, check them out. If you're looking at a machine that has a FANUC control, it's probably a good machine. That's kind of my thought. So my 2 cents on it. FANUC, great job, great booth. Loved every minute of it. Thank you very much. Let's go over exactly what I paid, how I got here, and what my hidden expenses were so that if you're planning a trip like this, you'll know what to plan for. So let's talk about flights. A flight from the US to Europe's usually around 1,500 bucks. That's if you get it in advance. Now maybe if you get a cheap, poor itinerary that's 35, who knows how many hours, go through 10 cities, you could probably get one for 500 or 600 bucks. I booked my ticket about 8 months ago, and to tell you the truth, I use credit card points from our business when we do travel expenses. So it didn't actually cost me anything because I'm a penny pincher. You probably are too. So, but 1,500 bucks, 2,000. Now, if you're trying to buy a ticket 2 weeks before, you're gonna have an issue. I ran into some lads last night. Great guys, oh my goodness. I just love meeting people. These guys are from the London, UK area. They got a 20 euro flight from London to Berlin, took a train, rode here. Now they're staying on the cheap, man, but they're at the show. I mean, they aren't spending a ton of money. Now you're gonna lose some work, right? I mean, I'm not at home billable hours. but I'm here at the show. If you think I'm gonna make my money back on the YouTube videos from this, you're wrong. Maybe one day. It's not why I'm here. You're gonna have to lose a week of work, or you're gonna have to convince your boss, hey, it's worth it for you to pay me to come here and to pay for my flights and to pay for my time. Not all employers are gonna do that. I've been spoken with a few other Instagrammers who they're here 100% on their own. They bought their ticket, their lodging, their hotel. So if you get an Airbnb, if you get a hostel, some of the guys that I talk to who are running booths here, they're staying at like a campground with a shared bathroom and a shared shower. But he said they could fit 5 guys and it was like 250 bucks for the week. So that's pretty cheap. My Airbnb I booked 7-8 months ago. I needed a little more room for Natalie and the baby, and it's like 15 minutes walk from here. It's not anything to write home about. It's got a shower, a little kitchen, and a bathroom, and a couch. Nothing crazy. It's kind of dirty, actually. I'm used to really nice Airbnbs in the States. The one here could be cleaner, but it wasn't that bad. It's about 200 bucks a night. So for me, I'm spending 6 nights here. So that's 1,200 bucks I spent out the door on my Airbnb. Now, to get your ticket in to come here, I just went ahead, tried to figure out where online to buy my ticket like 6 months ago, and I couldn't figure it out. I tried again like 3 months ago and was like worried, man, maybe I'm not gonna get in. Found it. It was a little difficult to get my ticket, but it was 60 euro. So not too expensive, and also this gets me on the metro so I can ride into Hannover and back for free. Now they scan you when you come in the door. They want to be sure who's here, and I think they're keeping track of which doors people are coming into. Why not? I love extra data. So 60 euro for your ticket, let's say between 500 if you're on the cheap end and 2,000 on the more expensive end for your hotel, 1,500 for your flight. Now let's talk about food. You can probably get lunch or dinner if you make friends, or you know a salesman who's here from a particular software company or machine tool company. So maybe you could squeeze by on 50 bucks a day. I mean, if you're gonna eat really cheap like bread and cheese at a grocery store, you could probably go like 15 bucks a day. So drink beer at the show, get bread and cheese at a store. Maybe you're like 15 euro a day for food. I mean, I've easily spent on this trip $3,000, which I'm not bragging about. I want to do this for people so that there's more information about how to come to these shows and people know what it costs. But it's not free, and if you're showing this out of pocket, you're going to be losing income when you're not at work. So try your best to prove, maybe show this video to your employer and go, look, how do you justify $3,000 or $4,000? Or maybe you do it on your own time, but they buy your ticket. There's a way to justify it. The people that you meet, the ideas that you're gonna get are really hard to put a price point on. In your ROI might not be 6 months, it might not be a week. You might not come back with a great idea, but down the road, somebody you met, something you thought. I like these shows. That's why I spent $3,000 to come here. It would have been more if I didn't have the airline miles and stuff. So there's ways to get around it. Like I said, get yourself a free ticket from a few vendors and just try to do it on the cheap. I mean, if you did it cheaper, let me know. I'm sure there's people who do it for more. Let's talk about though, so you spend $3,000 or $4,000 to get here. How much do you think a booth like Fanuc or Zimmer or Veercut or, I mean, Heidenhain, I mean, some of these people, Mori, I have no idea how much they spent on their booth. And what's crazy is they don't know if they're gonna get an ROI on it either. But if you're not here, you're like a nobody. So it's tough. I've heard that this show is cheaper than IMTS, and I'm all about promoting shows. I mean, these companies put a ton of money, a ton of time, a ton of engineering, lots and lots of graphics, of print. I mean, they're doing videos here at these shows. They're showing off, they've spent all this R&D money, so it's worth coming. I hope that I can give you, you know, I'm not scaring you. It's not gonna be too expensive. It's not gonna be too cheap. I mean, I'd be interested if you got here for like less than 150 bucks, in and out, spend a few days, shoot me a message. That's impressive. So that's how much it cost me to come to EMO, and I'm making this video so that you'll have an idea of really what it takes to get here.